Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on this special edition of Carolina Week.
A look back at the stories that affected our campus
and defined the fall semester.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the best of edition of Carolina Week. I'm Kate Schoen.
And I'm Alex Villarreal. We have a look back at some of the most important stories of the fall semester. Thanks for watching. East Carolina University has proposed building a new dental school. Justin Smith examined how the new school would affect residents and the UNC dental program.
If you need your car fixed in Swan Quarter, Pat Spencer can help you. He's the town's only mechanic. If you need your teeth fixed, you'll have to drive a while to see the closest dentist.
If we want any kind of work done, we go to Washington or Belhaven. Belhaven is probably 30 minutes from here, 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Wayland Moore has to leave his job at Newman Seafood and drive more than an hour to get his teeth checked. He thinks many people in the area don't see a dentist at all.
A lot of these people in this county wear dentures because of that. They don't have nobody to go to help take care of their teeth.
But better dental health could be coming to remote areas like Swan Quarter. Last week, East Carolina University got the go-ahead to start a dental program. UNC Chapel Hill currently runs the state's only dental school. It will also receive money to increase enrollment and expand research facilities. Vice Dean Ken May doesn't think the creation of a school in Greenville will threaten Carolina's program.
I think we'll still see quality applicants here, and there should be quality applicants available for ECU.
ECU officials will recruit dental students with rural roots who are likely to return to communities like Swan Quarter after they graduate.
This is a poor county. A lot of people don't have a lot of money, and they're not going to want a high-priced dentist.
The state reimburses dentists who treat low-income patients on Medicaid, but president of the North Carolina Dental Society, Dr. Rex Card, says often doctors don't receive enough money to cover their costs. In addition to opening a new dental school, Card says the state must increase Medicaid funding to entice graduates to practice in underserved communities.
If they want to go into a rural area, they have to be able to make a living in order to go there.
ECU officials will now ask the state legislature for nearly $90 million to build the dental school, and it likely won't open until 2010. Still, the residents of Swan Quarter might be one step closer to better dental health. In the newsroom, I'm Justin Smith, Carolina Week.
Swan Quarter is located in Hyde County. It's one of 4 North Carolina counties without a dentist.
In the November midterm elections, only 37% of eligible Orange County residents exercised their right to vote. But some new U.S. citizens can't wait to vote in the next election. Here's their story in their own words.
Hello, Sana Gavin from Pakistan.
Good morning, Chaso Zoma from Nigeria. Good morning, I'm Stephen Wu from Taiwan. Steve King from Nigeria.
Shazayas from Ethiopia.
Good morning, this is Sherry. I come from Taiwan.
Elias Carré from France.
Good morning, Jayasri from India.
It shows everyone becoming an American citizen. It shows what America's all about, the melding of different cultures and countries all becoming one people.
I mean, we have the most rights, personally, in my opinion, despite all the other countries. So I feel that we have to represent that well, and that's the biggest part of being a citizen. I'm from India, actually.
I appreciate the dedication that the new citizens have shown. It's not easy, as you may know. It takes 5 or more months of hard work.
Yeah, we had to first apply, and then they'll call you down to the immigration center. And then you had to take a test, which is like a series of American history questions.
Well, we have to go through a lot of paperwork and go to these meetings and stuff to be able to get all our citizenship and make sure, we are part of the United States, which I was really looking forward to being.
There isn't that much freedom in the country I'm from, so I want to take the opportunity to be thankful and happy that I have the opportunity.
It actually feels kind of cool because I can vote now, and I'm actually like kind of strong on politics, and I want to be able to vote in the next election.
I'd definitely vote. Start with that. Now I can talk about politics and not have people look at me and say, "Why do you care? You're not even a citizen." And I'll be like, "Yes, I am."
I did. I grabbed my paper and everything to vote. I'm very excited about that.
To see the enthusiasm that the new citizens have, it makes you proud to be an American. It sounds like a cliche, but it's true.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The naturalization process can take up to 5 months. Each of the new citizens received a certificate, forms to vote, and a pocket constitution.
Every semester, one concern for students is rising student fees. Reporter Hannah Gordola takes a look at what the millions of dollars in student fees actually cover.
For this academic year, an in-state undergraduate student will pay about $5,000 in tuition. He or she will pay another $1,600 in student fees.
I try to do all the activities on campus that I know that I'm paying for. Like I get a yearly checkup at Student Health.
Junior Liz Thomas is unique among her peers. She has a general idea of where the fee money goes, but she still has many questions.
Where is the golf course? I don't know where this is.
Last year, student fees generated almost $74.2 million for the university. But many students don't know where the money went or who decides how to spend it.
It's not disappearing into this hole of sort of administrators' pockets or anything.
Student body president James Allred sits on a student subcommittee that makes suggestions to upper-level administration about student fees. He says every penny in fees has a purpose.
If we had a school with very low student fees, it would be a school without email, without student organizations, without dining, without any of the amenities we have. And it wouldn't be the same experience for our students.
But Thomas wonders if the subcommittee and the university really knows how to spend that money.
The most useful is definitely safety and security, but we're paying $1.70 for that. We're paying $124 for the union. I'd much rather feel safe at night than have Alpine Bagel.
Associate Vice Chancellor of Financial Administration Roger Patterson says UNC student leaders have a lot of influence on fee-related decisions.
The thing that I'm most impressed about is how open we are in allowing students to have a voice in the process.
For example, he says when students said they were willing to pay more in fees in order to expand the transit line or get better seats at games, the subcommittee relayed the information to the top and it was approved. Thomas says she's not convinced.
Our efforts are futile because if we say we don't want to pay these tuition and bills, we're not students anymore, and there's plenty of students who want to come to Carolina.
Certainly $1,500 looks like a significant amount to pay in student fees.
But he says fees pay for the type of lifestyle UNC students have grown accustomed to.
Most students will only spend about 15 hours out of their week in the classroom. So we want to make sure that that other time continues to be time that's enriching and fun.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Hannah Gordola, Carolina Week.
The majority of student fees are general fees that pay for athletics, student health, and the technology you enjoy.
We all know someone who has had cancer. Modern medicine has made the disease much more curable, but the pain can still continue long after the cancer is gone. UNC graduate student Erin Coyle will never forget when her childhood went into fast forward.
When I was 13, I found a lump in my right leg.
The lump grew to the size of half an orange before doctors diagnosed Coyle with a rare form of cancer.
And somewhere around that time, I kind of zoned out until they stopped and asked if I had any questions. And I said, yes, I want to know if I'll be able to go back to ballet. And everyone was just a little bit quiet and said, we'll try for that.
Trying came in the form of chemotherapy, which Coyle underwent for 10 months. After that, doctors planned to start radiation treatments.
But as it turned out, I went in for my MRI. They looked at my leg and there was no tumor there anymore.
Coyle was cured, but the chemo had lingering effects. Today, the 29-year-old still has a lot of pain and low energy. Oncologist Philip Rosoff says Coyle is like many childhood cancer survivors.
Many of these children, as they grow into teen years and as they grow into adults, will have chronic health problems directly referable to the treatment that they received.
But for survivors like Coyle, these problems are a small price to pay for a treatment that keeps them alive.
30 years ago or 40 years ago, they would have been dead.
Coyle says cancer forced her to realize that tomorrow is never guaranteed.
I knew at the time that there were a lot of risks and that I might not ever be perfectly healthy again, but it was the only option I had.
A recent study found that 75% of adult cancer survivors have at least one chronic health problem.
There is such a thing as too much exercise, and it's a general warning sign of an eating disorder. I spoke with one UNC student who shows us what it's like to be addicted to working out.
Every day, Kat Fowler fights a battle within herself. She became anorexic and obsessed with exercise during her junior year of high school. Now recovered and a junior in college, Fowler still struggles with her past.
It's not something you ever get over. I still think about food a lot. I still work out a lot.
Fowler says she worked out more and stopped eating during stressful times.
My body was the one thing I could control. I could control how much went in. I could control how much I worked out. It was like a way to get a hold of my life when something else wasn't going right.
It's a dangerous coping mechanism. At her lowest point, Fowler exercised 7 days a week, 4 hours a day. She weighed 105 pounds, 25 pounds below the minimum healthy weight for her 5'8.5" frame. Doctors told her if she didn't stop punishing her body with exercise, she'd have osteoporosis by age 20.
Your body's hurting, and it will tell you eventually because my body told me.
Fowler's one of a number of people who exercise compulsively, a behavior associated with anorexia. Anorexia affects 0.5 to 1% of Americans.
I just can't understand how they can't.
Director of the UNC Eating Disorders Program, Dr. Cynthia Bulick, says people who have anorexia and exercise excessively are psychologically similar.
People who are excessive exercisers, they seem to have a cluster of personality characteristics. And what we see mostly is perfectionism and obsession.
Fowler says her obsession with exercise began to interfere with her life. It remains a large part of her routine even now. She encourages others like her to be honest with themselves and everyone else.
Don't be ashamed of it because I'm certainly not. You honestly think that it would never happen to you, but if it does, it's okay. And the important thing is to respect yourself.
Anorexia has the highest death rate of any psychological illness. People with the disorder are 12 times more likely to die than others their age.
When you think of farms, you probably think of cows, roosters, and horses.
But there are other kinds of farms too. Coming up, a farm where the residents are all aflutter about their home.
If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
Thousands of kids in this country have everything it takes to go to college, except the money. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
It's great that the Salvation Army does so much for the needy during the holiday season.
But you know that isn't all the Salvation Army does. They also run Boys and Girls Clubs.
They also provide relief for those who need it after natural disasters.
And they help the homeless by providing temporary relief and shelter.
They even run summer camps for low-income children.
Need has no season. Please help the Salvation Army help others.
Endangered sea turtles swim along the North Carolina coast. So what happens when they get hurt? Reporter Will Weldon answers this question with an inside look at a special hospital.
Each year, thousands of endangered sea turtles hatch along North Carolina's beaches and make their way to the ocean. Then they'll try to survive to the age when they can lay their own eggs, probably back here on the North Carolina coast. Sea turtles face numerous threats in the open waters off our coast, and there's only one place in North Carolina that exists just to help injured turtles survive. It's the Sea Turtle Rescue and Rehabilitation Center in Topsail Beach. Gene Beasley started this unique hospital as a way of helping the many sick turtles that were being brought in.
One of the first things that we teach our volunteers is that these are wild animals. Our mission is to get them well and to return them to the wild with as little human imprinting as possible.
The loggerhead, green, and Kemp's Ridley turtles make up the current occupants of the Sea Turtle Hospital. And these fragile creatures come in with a variety of injuries they received And they stay here at the Sea Turtle Hospital until Jean feels they're able to make it on their own again. The hospital is almost always full to capacity, and Jean wants people to see the work going on there.
Only way we can save sea turtles is through education. To make people aware of what their needs are, of what's happening to them, and to care about them.
The future for most of these turtles is that they'll be tagged and returned to the deep blue wilderness. Jean and her crew usually do 2 releases a year, one in June, one in September. When there are fewer boats in the water, they bring the turtles back to the beach and release them into the ocean. As long as these beautiful creatures swim along the North Carolina coast and face uncertain threats, there will likely be a shelter for them here. At Topsail Beach, I'm Will Weldon, Carolina Week.
If you want to help the turtles, you can buy a Sea Turtle license plate. All proceeds go back to the nonprofit hospital at Topsail.
North Carolina is well known for its farming. Reporter Katie Klein shows us one farm that's nothing like the rest.
Tim Pless is a farmer, but he doesn't have any seeds to plant or fields to plow. He's a butterfly farmer and the only one in North Carolina.
My wife saw butterfly farming on the internet. And so I kind of looked at it, and me being from a male background and sport background said, honey, I don't want to be a butterfly farmer.
His company, All a Flutter, first sold butterflies over the internet for special occasions. And 3 years ago, they started giving tours of their farm in High Point.
We really wanted to educate the community on butterflies, and that's why we do the presentation. And give the people an opportunity to come in and be real close to the butterflies.
One stop on the tour is here in the Flight House. Visitors get a chance to catch butterflies of their own.
Lots of times you go to different places and you can see them, but you really can't be up close to them. And I think this gives them the kids hands-on experience.
It's all science.
People of all ages come during butterfly season, from April until October.
It's pretty, it looks brand new, like it just hatched. I think it's cool, and I've never caught a butterfly before.
But for Pless, it's just another day on the farm, and it looks like he's gotten over his issues with raising butterflies.
You see the black ones, you see the orange ones.
In High Point, I'm Katie Klein, Carolina Week.
Farm visits don't start again until April, but you can still order butterflies online. Find out more at our website, carolinaweek.org.
We're now joined by sportscaster extraordinaire Brandon Curry. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Dan.
So, Brandon, rough football season.
Rough is one way to say it, but Bunting did finish strong, beating State and Duke, which is most important, but that chapter of UNC football is over. Coming up in sports, the buzz on campus is all about UNC football's new head coach, Butch Davis. We'll look back at the tumultuous career of Davis's predecessor, John Bunting.
Don't walk. Don't walk. Walk. Do not enter. Hot dogs. Definitely like hot dogs. Motorcycle club. Everything must go. Ghostly ghouls. Don't look at that, Teddy. Body piercing. Ouch.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
What do you get when you cross a soprano with a cardiologist? Someone who'll sing their heart out. Just what they're doing at a local community theater. See, the Sopranos Choir and the Cardiologist Hospital contacted their community coalition and started a children's theater. They knew busy kids are less likely to try drugs. And that's music to everyone's ears. What can your group do? Contact your community coalition at helpyourcommunity.org. Because you get more
when you get together.
Back in November, Carolina Week's Antonio Tucker took a look into the unstable Carolina football situation, which ultimately led to John Bunting's firing. He found that things weren't as clear-cut as we might have thought.
By now, we've all heard the news. John Bunting is out as the head coach of UNC football at season's end. But here now are the top 5 reasons why he could not and did not succeed as the head coach of the Tar Heels. Reason number 5, Bunting's predecessors. Mack Brown enjoyed top 10 consecutive seasons before bolting to Texas, and Carl Torbush coached the Heels to 2 winning seasons following Brown. That kind of success set a high bar that Bunting never eclipsed. Even Bunting's 2001 Peach Bowl championship team featured holdover players that were never recruited by Bunting, but were here before his arrival. Reason number 4, Tar Heel fans. Websites like FireJohnBunting.com and angry editorials never gave the head coach much of a comfort zone to operate in, especially towards the end of his term. In the end, fan angst and frustration forced athletic director Dick Braddour to make a move towards restoring the program's image. Reason number 3, Carolina basketball. Carolina hoops cast a shadow over all other sports at UNC, and the popularity of the Carolina basketball tradition makes building a football program of equal stature nearly impossible to accomplish. Not to mention the best running game at Carolina since Bunting's arrival belongs to Ivory Latta and the women's basketball team. Reason number 2, the players. John Bunting can't be faulted for trying to run a clean program. However, that has meant parting ways with All-American high school prospects recruited to play for the Heels. This, in sync with drop passes, poor tackling, and mental mistakes, have played a huge role in many of the losses during Bunting's tenure. And the most obvious and number 1 reason you can't blame John Bunting for failing as head coach of Carolina football is Carolina's opponents. Bunting never shied away from playing the best programs in the country, and much credit is owed to those teams. College powerhouses Texas, Miami, and Louisville have all laid the wood to the Tar Heels in Bunting's 6 seasons, and 11 of 12 ACC teams have beaten the Heels at least once on their home turf during that time. One thing is for sure, whomever the next head coach of UNC football is, they'll have to deal with these obstacles and the added pressure of winning immediately. I'm Antonio Tucker for Carolina Week.
Butch Davis is the new head football coach, and Tar Heel fans hope for the same success that basketball coach Roy Williams has enjoyed. Brian Allen tells us much of Roy's success is because of the recruits the program attracts, including this year's Super Six.
Last year, they were supposed to finish in the bottom of the ACC. Last year, they weren't supposed to have the talent to win the big games. Last year, they weren't supposed to have the experience to come through in clutch situations. But this year, they're the hot pick for national champion. What's the difference between last year's team and this year's? Meet the freshmen. Wayne Ellington, 6'4", 195 pounds from Wynwood, Pennsylvania, scored 31 points for Team USA in the 2006 Nike Hoop Summit, tying the record set by UNC sophomore Tyler Hansborough in 2005. William Graves, 6'6", 260 pounds, a big man with a shooter's touch. The Greensboro native was named the 2006 North Carolina High School Player of the Year. Taiwan Lawson, 5'11", 193 pounds from Clinton, Maryland. The silky smooth, speedy point guard has been described as the second coming of Raymond Felton. Alex Stevenson, 6'9", 225 from Los Angeles, California. The power forward broke his high school's career record for rebounds in just 3 seasons. Deion Thompson, 6'8", 245 from Torrance, California. Averaged over 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 blocks a game as a senior. Brandon Wright, 6'9", 205 pounds, but with a 7'4" wingspan. The best power forward in the country grabbed over 1,200 career rebounds and blocked over 600 shots.
This year's freshmen have a chance to be extremely important to us, so we have to be extremely patient with them. But we're going to be challenging them more than they've ever been challenged, and they're the ones that have to decide how comfortable that is.
Coach Roy Williams recognizes the potential that his freshmen have, but
potential is that thing gets coaches fired too, so we'll have to wait and see.
Adding these Super Six to a team led by preseason All-American Tyler Hansborough, the team that was supposed to be lacking too much to be competitive, now has the depth to make a long postseason run, leaving fans to wonder if there's room in the Dean Dome rafters for one more banner. From Chapel Hill, I'm Brian Allen, Carolina Week Sports.
And it's going to be those Super Six that are going to lead us to another national championship.
Hey, let's hope so. It should be an exciting season. Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. Well, with the holidays upon us, many people will be doing a lot of shopping.
Coming up, we'll show you a place full of gifts that reflect North Carolina's Southern charm.
Hear the one about the mom and the mechanic? They made a big splash running a car wash. See, the local PTA, an auto body shop, and their community coalition organized car washes, raising money to expand after-school programs. They knew keeping kids busy keeps them away from drugs. So now the town's got clean cars and clean kids. What can your group do? Contact your community coalition at helpyourcommunity.org because you get more
when you get together.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Today, Chapel Hill might feel more cosmopolitan than country.
But as reporter Julia Meyer shows us, one landmark store still holds on to its southern roots.
We all think of the old well as a classic icon for Chapel Hill. But would you say the same thing about this hay wagon? Or how about this bundle of corn? Probably not, but you don't have to travel to the country to see these items. You can find them right here in Chapel Hill at Pattersons Mill Country Store. Located just off Farrington Road, the store is modeled after an original trading post which opened in the 1870s. Although this building might have a turn-of-the-century air, John and Elsie Booker built it in 1973. Their daughter-in-law, Gail Booker, now owns the store with her husband. She explains why Pattersons Mill has been so important to her family.
Pattersons Mill was started by my mother and father-in-law, and they really built the store and started the store to house their collections of North Carolina memorabilia and pharmaceutical items. My mother-in-law was a pharmacist and graduated from UNC in 1945.
Visitors to the store have the opportunity to view Elsie Booker's nationally recognized pharmaceutical collection, as well as an exact replica of a 20th century doctor's office. While the store's antique collections are not for sale, you can purchase any number of handcrafted items like these painted eggs, as well as books, vintage cloth, and prize-winning preserves. Pattersons Mill has all kinds of unique gifts, but it's also a great place to shop for your Christmas decorations, if you're interested in beating the holiday rush. Pattersons Mill is open Tuesday through Sunday, and getting a taste of the past is free. In Chapel Hill, I'm Julia Meyer, Carolina Week.
If you're tired of supermarkets and strip malls, Pattersons Mill is the place for you.
Chess isn't a game for the faint of heart. It takes great skill, endurance, and dedication to beat your opponent. Jennifer Carpenter reports from Durham Academy Middle School, where 12 students take it to the board.
Chess. It's not an easy sport to play, but 12 students at Durham Academy Middle School are training for national competition. Carolina Week is tracking their progress.
Well, my parents say it has like good problem-solving skills. The more games they play, like if you win games, your rating tends to go up. So most people start around 500 to 1,000, which is an average beginner's level. Then they start going up some. That's the USCF rating. Some tournaments, they are like really big tournaments, like the national grades in Florida. It'll be like over, 2,000 people.
The national grade in Orlando, Florida is less than a month away. So as the kids get ready, they train in tournament settings.
Anyone can learn how it works. It takes a lot of skill to get like really, really high.
Chess promotes strategy, good sportsmanship, and love of the game. So why do these kids love chess so much?
I like chess because it's something I'm good at.
We don't blame you, Rodney. If we were third in the state, we'd love chess too. At Durham Academy Middle School, this is Jennifer Carpenter, Carolina Week.
You know, the intensity of those players is really amazing.
No, I agree, and I know that I have a long way to go before I get up to their level, so.
Me too.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks very much for watching. Good night.